So what's the connection between the Maori warrior ceremony of the haka and the Daily Standup? We'll explore that in today's edition of North Code. Hey guys, Chris here. Today we're looking at one of the most commonplace practices in tech organizations today, the Daily Standup. According to J.J. Sutherland, one of the parents of Scrum, the first stand-up happened during the second sprint ever, February 1994 at Borland. One of the elements of Borland's team's secret sauce was that they would have everyone on the team meet every single day to discuss how they were performing. Getting everyone together in a room was key. We planned out 4 weeks of work and we finished it all in a week, a 400% improvement. In 1998, continuous integration of the Daily Standup are listed among the core practices of extreme programming. The notion of a stand-up meeting also appeared in Kent Beck's 1999 book, Extreme Programming Explained. The idea was that requiring everybody to stand up limited the meeting time length by necessity. So the Daily Stand-Up meeting is an important practice for Agile teams because it helps in monitoring and managing its performance, which is important for the team to self-manage. But how does this actually work? One recent study looked at things that positively affect the stand-up process as well as the attitudes towards it. The findings were that some characteristics negatively affects the process, like low level of self-management, low level of shared knowledge. Some physical characteristics positively affect the process, like visualing tasks on a board, using video instead of audio calls, having fewer participants, decreasing the duration. When looking at how people feel about stand-ups, we can see that just progress reporting practice negatively affects the attitude towards the meeting, while discussing solving problems and sharing information with the team positively affects the attitude. Some other factors that make for unhappy stand-uppers are too high meeting frequency, conducting meetings at a disruptive time, not starting meetings promptly. But are stand-up meetings really valuable? A study published in 2017 asked developers just that. Even though the respondents on average were neutral towards the practice, the majority were either positive or negative. Junior developers were most positive, and senior developers and members of large teams most negative. Paradoxically, the larger the team, the less the satisfaction with the meeting. In particular, developers were negative when teams consisted of 12 or more team members. There's also a trend we can see here, where people feel good about stand-ups are more correlated with spending more time programming and attending fewer meetings. So how can we reap the benefits of utilizing a stand-up process while navigating around the pitfalls? Let's look at addressing some of the challenges with keeping healthy stand-up meetings. We never keep them to a time limit. Scrum recommends that stand-ups should not be used for discussing solutions to obstacles raised. However, empirical studies have found that spending time in the short meeting on discussing and solving problems is valuable. So that might be acceptable and even to be expected around some milestones in the project life cycle. If it's not a seasonal thing, it's usually an issue, and it's okay to address it. As a general rule, after 15 minutes, the average person's mind is going to wander. Should we really do this daily? The short answer is usually yes. Some smaller teams or projects are highly predictable, low-risk projects choose to have rare in-person stand-ups and post-written stand-ups instead. There are a bunch of bots around that can help with this, but realistically, this decreases the chances that everyone in the team will read everyone else's updates or come up with useful ideas or suggestions. But it all boils down to discipline and what works for each specific team. Stand-ups just make me uncomfortable. Well, to some extent, that's the whole point. The time box setting should pressure you into being efficient and productive in surfacing and eliminating blockers. It's pretty much proven that stand-ups do bring value to a project when implemented. So if there are things that you feel can be improved, don't hesitate to speak out. And keep in mind, not listening, not speaking out, or just focusing on delivering your update reports to the leader are the things that hurt the stand-up process most for everyone involved. So don't be one of those guys. Okay, time for some stand-up etiquette tips that will make everyone happier and more productive. Think ahead. Take a couple of minutes before the call and make a note of the things you want to mention. Leave any irrelevant data out and think through a concise way to express your ideas so you're not scrambling for words mid-meeting. Always be there on time. If for some reason you're not able to make it, notify peers before starting time. Always listen carefully until the very end of the meeting. Voice any concern, ask questions, share any useful knowledge, and volunteer to help. Also, ask for help. This is, after all, the core idea behind the whole stand-up thing. Mute yourself when not speaking. Your background noise will be distracting to peers. Signal the end. After the last person has spoken, the team may not immediately realize that the meeting is over. That's unpleasant, and it doesn't end the meeting on a high note. Finally, here are some ideas that you can consider for improving your stand-up meetings. Last arrival speaks first. This is a simple rule that also has the added benefit of encouraging people to be punctual about showing up for the stand-up. Time the meetings, record them for that matter, and publish the results. Have a meeting facilitator role and rotate it around the team to ensure that people don't end up simply reporting to the leader. Going back to J.J. Sutherland's time at ESOL, he remembers, I regularly showed them a video of the All Blacks rugby team getting ready for a game. Before every game, they perform the Maori warrior ceremony of the haka. The haka is a warrior dance that charges up people about to go into battle. While watching it, you can almost see the energy come out of each player and coalesce into a greater whole. You can see ordinary men transform themselves into something bigger, something greater. They're invoking a warrior spirit that does not accept defeat or dismay. Yes, a battle anthem. That was one of the initial inspiration points behind the ritual of the daily stand-up. The intention was, and still is, to create a shared space that brings people together, to coordinate, evade obstacles, and work productively as a whole. Processes, rituals, and rules are simply means to that end, and should continuously be adjusted to optimize the outcome, which is faster projects and happier peers. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to get more content that will help you become a better technology professional. You can find links to all the mentioned studies and stories in the description box. Shout out to our Telepat North members watching. North is an invitation-only club for outstanding coders, offering members free books, courses, learning resources, and swag. If you're interested, you can learn more by visiting northtelepat.io. Also, don't forget to check out North Code content on Medium for even more great articles and interviews with developers like you. See you next time. Bye.